Hi, it's Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go get that claimed, smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode. Hi, this is Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Today, I think we're going to call it the Random Show. Why is that? Because I really don't have one topic or theme that I want to share with you guys this week. It's going to be probably a little bit some musings, if you will, some thoughts, some observations, and again, the goal always to share and to add value to your world as a financial advisor. So first off, obviously, welcome to the end of Q1 of 2023. So you have a couple different ways, and again, we're just going to talk out loud here. Look, your Q1, it fell into one of three very broad-based buckets. You had a great Q1, it was an okay Q1, or it totally sucked. Period, right? There's only 1 to 3 boxes you get to check. Point being is it's only one quarter out of 4. And here's something that I'm finding in the marketplace, talking to, again, all my personal clients, members of the network, kind of doing what I do, travel around the country, host events, is that there's a lot of money in motion. So in other words, there's assets to be gathered, there's premium to be written, it is there, and I have evidence that it's there. However, if you are focused on everything that you cannot control, the geopolitical situation, the banking situation, what the Federal Reserve does, what's going on in politic land, and all this other stuff, this is why you are struggling to grow your game. Remember, where your focus goes, your energy goes. Where your energy goes, that's where your time goes. It's a very, very simple formula. So if you get up in the morning and you are focused on what's going on the news, what's going on halfway around the world, what's going on in Washington, D.C., then that's your focus, and that's where your mental energy goes, and that's where your time is going to be spent. Okay? Pretty simple. And for a lot of human beings, and I'll put that again, humans, is that if you don't enjoy something, if you don't find pleasure in something, then your mind will find things to distract itself with, i.e. the news, right? Or in absence of a compelling, bigger, bolder, brighter future, your brain tries to find things to distract you. And the easiest thing in our world is news, social media, stuff like that. So if that is your game, then that is your reality. I'm focused there. That's where my energy is. That's where my time is. Hence, that's the results I produce, which is nothing / mediocrity. Option 2, I have compelling goals. So here's one thing I'm going to ask you to ask yourself. And by the way, I do not care how old you are chronologically. No bearing on this. Do you believe that your best days are in front of you as a professional, as a financial advisor, or do you believe the best days are behind you? Now, answer the question. Thank you. Now you have the answer. Now, if you answered the question, yeah, I truly believe my best days are behind me, do yourself, your clients an absolute favor and start figuring out how to retire now. Why? Because all you're going to do is wither away. You are going to check out mentally and emotionally. You're going to play office. You're going to have your standards be reduced. And you are not going to serve your clients at the highest level because your mind is you're on your professional deathbed. I know that sounds harsh, but that's the truth. Now, and there's only two answers, man. You can't say, well, it's neither. No, that's a cop-out. No, my best days are in front of me. Great. Then start focusing on that. Have your goals. Have your quarterly game plan. Have your, again, if you're part of our tribe here, we have our 10-year vision strategic planning process we do. Like, if you believe that your future is brighter than your present past, then you've got to make sure that you map it out. The more you map it out, the more detailed you get, the more real it becomes, the more your brain goes, that's what I want. I'm going to move towards it. Well, what do I need to do to move towards it? I got to take action. Well, what action do I need to take? And away we go. And what do I need to focus on? That and not the other stuff. I mean, it's literally binary. Either an advisor gets it and they move forward towards their bigger, brighter, bolder future, or they're not. And I know some of you are going to sit there and say, well, wait a second, Joe. What about the markets? What about them? Markets do this, markets do that. Markets go up, markets go down. I don't know. I've been doing this for nearly almost 30 years. I can go all the way back to early 90s. I can go back to the tech crash of 2000. I can give you all the different iterations I've seen. And guess what? The one truth is in all that, even through the pandemic. There are advisors who use it as an excuse to give themselves an out instead of being great. And then there are advisors who rose to the occasion and compelled themselves to be great. Binary. See, the one simple truth in our game is there's no such thing as just treading water, or I just want to kind of maintain what I have. That's like the worst thing you can ever tell yourself. As soon as you say, I'm good, it's the first day of atrophy. It's almost like going to the gym for years and building a body, building your health, and you look in the mirror and you go, you know what? I am peak conditioned. I'm Adonis. I never have to go to the gym again. That's it. I'm done. I'm good. I just want to keep this the way it is. Next day, you're going to be less than you were today. The game is always played. One of the core critical beliefs I have, and I impart this to all my clients, by the way, and I hope, and if you're a client, you know this, and if you're not, I hope you adopt this. Your best year in the business will be your last year in the business. That is a core, as a coach for me. And I'm going to, for some of you, you're like, man, this guy's crazy, but hear me out. I've already told my clients, I will coach till I'm 100 years old. And I will turn 59 this year. And I've made that declaration, and I make it consistently. Why? Well, why not? Like, this will sound very strange, but they like us we're calling this random show, right? I asked myself this question. I was listening to a podcast, and the speaker asked a question, and it was a profound question. And the question was this: when do you plan to die? Just think about that for a second. When do you plan to die? And most people would say, well, I don't, it's nature. You don't plan it, right? Okay. If you don't plan when to die, then what is your default concept? I can tell you what it is because it was mine. You go, what's the actuary table say? The average woman in the U.S. lives to X. The average male in the U.S. lives to Y. Actually, X minus, right? And well, that's the expectation. And isn't it funny? That's where most people do it. But then if you read some other studies about mind body, then how does a person live to be 80, 85, 90, 95, 100? We're seeing a lot more people live past 100. Financial planning now is starting to talk about making 100 sort of the number, right? Well, how are those people doing it? You'll find commonality throughout all that concept, which is they want to live past that. So if you said to me right now, what's my current thinking on this, and I'll share this, and like I said, take it for any way you want. Number one, I'm going to coach them 100. Number two, I'm going to live to 125. Now, do I have a guarantee on that? Of course not. I could be dead as you're watching this. I have no idea, right? But I know mentally I have an intent. Every morning I wake up and I have that intent. No guarantee I understand that. But isn't that better than to say, well, I don't know. I guess mid-70s, I don't know, looks like 78 sounds, depending on what study you want to look at, 70. Yeah, so, well, I guess I got another like 20 years to go and that'll be it, right? Like, screw that. It's fascinating. I'll get an advisor come to me, and I'm going to share with you guys a story. It's a really good story. So a couple years ago, I had this guy come to me, and he said, hey, man, I want to hook up with you because I'm retired in a couple years, and I'm going to sell my practice, and I want you to help me just make it the best it could be so I can get top dollar and stuff like that. So so I tell him, I'm an expert in that. We can do it. No problem. Stuff like that. And I absolutely lied to him. I lied to him. And you're asking me why would I do that as a coach and brokerage integrity? I'm going to tell you why. Because I knew that once I got my hands on him and his practice, that I was going to help him create something that was going to be so sustainable and so profitable, he'd be a crazy person to retire. And that's exactly what's happened. So, he's probably now late 60s, having his best years in his career. If we laugh, we go, he's semi-retired with twice the income he had a decade ago. It's a true story. And so I laugh about it now, and I told him, I said, I lied to you, right? He goes, I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, you did, and I'm glad you did. I said, that's right. Because if you said, if you would have told me that, no, you don't want to retire, like I'm going to help you, like I would told you, that's not what I want, you're full of shit, and I would have worked with another coach. So great. Most of you do not understand the absolute privilege you have to be an advisor, the gift that you have to be in this industry. Because yes, there are rules. Yes, there's that C word for compliance. But there are really no rules. Hi, Coach Joe Lucas here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode. There's no retirement date. There's no cap or ceiling how much money you can make or how little you can make, I guess, also, right? There's no law that how many clients you can have or how much money you have under management. There are no rules. It's almost like the most perfect, beautiful blank canvas to create a life masterpiece over. Think about that. Show me another profession that can do that, please. And I've challenged people on that. Oh, how about doctors? Managed care. If you're not seeing patients, you're not earning, right? CPAs, even worse. Seasonal work, right? Attorneys, files, not retainer-based revenue. I can go on and on and on and on and on. Yet, I believe a vast number of advisors do not honor that because they're worried about what's going on in the markets, what's going on in their world, instead of looking at the big picture. And I'll share this with you guys. It was a very, very recent conversation with somebody who was talking to their. So he is this. My client has an older client who is obviously a little freaked out with current events and stuff like that, and it's kind of a new behavior, right? And so I was talking to him. I said, "Well, so give me the three things." He goes, "Number one, that the markets are going to go down, down, down. Number two, he's never going to have an opportunity because he's older to ride it back up and get a gain, right? And there's just a lot of uncertainty in the world." It's okay, great. And this is for everybody, by the way. So the first thing I said to him was, look, most human beings live in the moment. So in other words, their worldview and life view is extremely tactical. What I mean by that, what's going on today, what's going on yesterday, what may happen tomorrow, give or take, right? And I said, what you need to do for him is create context. And you need to reframe how he is looking at things. If you look at things from let's say you look at things the last 90 days versus, let's say, the last 9 years. Two radically different frameworks, right? So you have to remember this, another key belief I have, all conditions are temporary. I'll repeat that, all conditions are temporary. So what does that mean? That means that if you're having a great day today, doesn't mean you have a great day tomorrow. If you're having a crappy day today, doesn't mean you have a crappy day tomorrow. In other words, it is temporary. But if you don't tell yourself that and have that conversation, your way your mind works is, well, this is the way the world is. And it's not. And if you guys don't believe me, here's my challenge to you. Go do some research. What research do I want you to do? Go look at some headlines, and I'll pick, let's say, March of 2020. That's a good start point. Then let's pick October of 2008. Yeah, let's pick that. Let's pick September of 2001. That's a good one, right? And so on. And let's pick, I think it was February, January of 2020, whatever the tech thing was. So my point is, living in that moment, of course the world looks like it's coming to an end. Of course the world looks like a shit box. Of course. Because we're seeing it very myopically. When you look and give it context. Now, I'm not saying bad things do not happen. So let me be very clear. I'm not saying to ignore that, but put it in its proper context. Really, really important. And if you had a client for a while, draw upon that. Hey, remember this conversation we had March of 2020, and everything was closed. We didn't know if we were going to live or die, and was there even going to be a society, right, in a year? Like, I remember those headlines, right? And here we are. I'm not saying we're 100% out of the woods, but somehow life has gone on. The sun has come up, right? In fact, I almost forgot about this. While a lot of businesses were failing, laying people off, wondering if they're going to survive or not, how's your business through the pandemic? How are things? Most of my clients grew their business. Like, literally grew their top and bottom lines. Because they couldn't do any client events. In other words, you could not really spend money. So tell me why this is not a great business to be in. It's basically pandemic proof. There are some little windows when the markets do certain things and stuff like that. Yeah. Look, this is not the Garden of Eden. This is not utopia. But some of you, man, walk around like somebody shot your puppy. Like, oh man, this is like really bad. It's temporary. It's like a storm. For those of you in California, you know what I'm talking about. The sun that comes out eventually. May not come out as fast as you want it to, but eventually shows up. I live in Florida. We get hurricanes. They're temporary. Yes, the aftermath could last a little bit of time, of course, but the sun still comes out. Florida's still a great place to live. At least I think so. Nothing wrong with it, right? From that perspective. So again, why aren't you more excited about playing this game? If somebody said to me, I will invest in a business, Joe, start a business, we'll give you seed capital. I wouldn't go start a tech company. I definitely wouldn't open up a restaurant, right? Man, I would be in this game because it's just a beautiful game to be in. Most of you do not know the impact you have on your clients' lives, because we're on to the next thing. How does a client, so let me ask you a question this way. So you sit down with a couple, they're retiring, and because of your financial planning and your strategies and you can show them, again, no guarantees, of course, that they can have the retirement they want, they can have the bucket lists, they can go on the trips of their dreams, and they're going to be just fine. Don't you think that's meaningful? I mean, don't you think that's, other than the fact that, isn't that like next to or secondary to, the only thing is, hey, here's your annual physical, you have no cancer, no diseases, you're good, you're healthy. Other than that, what's more important? Right? Health and wealth, right? And we talk about that, health and wealth and health, right? All that jazz. So, but then why do we diminish ourselves like it doesn't matter? And some of you walk around like, oh man, I don't know if I'm earning my money, or man, I'm an imposter because I charge these fees and I don't know if I'm providing value. I'm not sure. Well, then get sure. Then get sure. I talk to a lot of advisors. I have an open door policy. Any advisor can have 30 minutes with me. You just go to my website, right, coachjoe.guru, and you can book 30 minutes with me, and it's just whatever you want to talk about. I'm totally cool. I enjoy those because it's like a buffet. You never know what's going to show up, right? And it floors me how creative advisors can be around the excuses of why they're not moving the needle from my firm. Oh, my firm, they don't let me do. Well, why then leave the firm? Oh, I can't do that. Why? Especially if you don't have a note. Like, why can't you leave? In other words, that's like battered spouse syndrome, right? I'm getting beat. I know I'm getting beat, but I won't leave them. We'd love to help you, but you need to help yourself, right? So, I mean, at some point, remember, the easiest thing to do, and I'm not, let me comment right now, I'm not comparing what we do to that. That is hideous. So just save the comments. But if you're going to sit there, the easiest thing to do is make excuses why you're not where you want to be, and then take absolutely no personal responsibility for it. Look, I screw up. I'm the first one to call myself out on it. I don't like doing it, but I know that I can make all excuses in the world. Like right here, right now. Great example. So a lot of you listen, but you're not members of the Magellan Network, right? So I can sit there and blame, well, you're probably not the right person we're looking for, or this or that. And that's not really true. The truth is that I have not had a story or a narrative or something that go, you know what, I get this guy, I'm going to go check out what he's all about and what his programs are all about. That's my failure. I own that. Nobody else. Nobody else is sitting here doing these things but me, right? So I think, again, as we're just shooting it here, remember this as you go into Q2, and then I'm going to get you out of here because I can go on and on. And I don't think you guys want that. You have a tremendous opportunity to have massive impact in the lives of your clients, your clients in waiting, cold prospects, your personal relationships, your professional relationships. But you have got to go ahead and claim that is your responsibility. That is one of your prime directives. If you're just about, investing money and, ooh, look at me, we got 2 points of alpha this quarter, right? Again, nothing wrong with that. That's not going to move the needles that you're looking to move. It's just not. Okay? You're in the people business. If you do not want to be in the people business, there's something called AI coming down the pike. So if you don't want to deal with human beings, guess what? We're going to have a solution. You will not have a business, but we'll have a solution for you because I already know it's coming. I've talked to, if you watched last week's show, if you haven't, I'd recommend you go back and look at it or listen to it. Look, artificial intelligence is coming. AI-driven financial planning is coming. it's going to be here sooner than you think. So if your jam is, oh, we're really good at planning and we're really, really good at asset management, and hey, look at us, I don't know if you're going to be saying that in a decade. I don't know if you're going to be saying that. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, go back to last week's, and because I'm going down a rabbit hole here. So I just want to say, really think. Every once in a while, I just like to it's like me getting stuff, it's like therapy for me. I like to get stuff off my chest. So I just want to say thank you for, I guess, maybe putting up with me this week, watching, listening this episode of Magellan Network Show. And love you to check out MagellanNetwork.net and find out what my world's all about. Love to help you. Love to help you be the best version of you and your business. So, till next week, have a great week. See you in 7 days. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game, both personally and professionally.